Good morning, and welcome to Dave TV. Just reading my morning Washington Post this morning, the excellent style section. Always wonderful to read the style section on a nice day like today. So what's up? Well, there's going to be a new dude running the style section. A lot of news yesterday about the Washington Post. Here on the let's say it's the May 12th edition of Dave TV here on DCRTV.com. Ned Martell is apparently out as the main editor of the Washington Post's troubled style section. He'll continue to write for the paper covering the upcoming presidential campaign, we're told. No successor has been named. They'll have somebody filling in on the interim before somebody else comes in to replace him. I don't know. I've always thought of, at least lately, thought of the style section has always been the weak link of the Post. The style section just seems unfocused. Its gossip column isn't very good. Its news coverage isn't very good. A lot of the stuff that appears in the paper seems to be a dollar short and a day late, at least in that section. They'll do overblown stories that run way too long on topics that I don't think a lot of people are that interested in. They're spending an awful lot of time covering stuff that I don't think, it's like Lisa DeMaray's column. I mean, it's a lot of insider baseball, which is fine, but I don't, maybe that's better for the website, not the print edition. I think they really need to go back to covering some more media news and some shorter stuff and some more splashy stuff and, whatever. I don't know. The paper, it's too many big pictures in the style section. It just, maybe some new blood will help it. I don't know. Who knows? The other biggie news is Erik Wemple. Remember him? Erik Wemple. Now, he used to be the top editor of the Washington City paper. Well, early last year, he jumped over to this all-news site that All Britain was going to start. And it was, big plans for this big news site, and they were going to have bloggers, and they were going to link to the local news community, and it was going to really shake the internet world on its ass, so to speak. Well, came to about midsummer, and they couldn't decide on a name for the thing, so they'd been calling it TBD, which just means to be determined, hoping they would get another name. Well, they couldn't get. They were like looking for Beltway.com and this and that, and they couldn't get a name. So basically, they settled on what Wemple had decided to, temporarily call it TBD.com. Anyhow, with a whole lot of flurry last August, early September, the site launched, and basically it went nowhere. The advertising revenue was low. It caused a lot of consternation in the All Britain organization with WJLA, which basically they took the WJLA website away and made it TBD. And it ended up early this year, they basically canned most of the staff. Wemple stayed. I don't know why. He was just kind of sitting around doing diddly things there, doing funny little commentaries on the site. And so now Erik has gone to the Washington Post, where he will apparently blog on media and politics, as if there aren't enough media and politics websites and blogs out there. I mean, there already seem to be about 24 media/politics sites out there, including places like Mediaite, and, Politico has something going on over there, which isn't all that good either, but, it just seems like there's an awful lot of that. So, hey, let's jump in and do the same thing that everybody else is doing. It's funny to see Erik jump to the Washington Post because he's always been, when he was at City Paper, he was always a huge critic of the paper. When he'd slam the Washington Post and, their nutty ideas and and now he's there. So, I guess, it's like he's jumping to the dark side. I don't know. I think he's a good writer. He is a good writer. He's a good reporter. He's a colorful guy, but, he's one of those guys that it just seems like if you wait around long enough, a Washington Post job will open up for you. He's always desperately seemed like he wanted to be a Washington Postie, and congratulations, now he is. It's interesting that they didn't pick Paul Farhi for the gig. This is that Howard Kurtzian gig. Howard Kurtz, longtime Washington Post media columnist, left the paper a couple months ago, went to the Daily Beast, and there was always rumor who was going to be the next Howard Kurtz. And there was some talk that Paul Farhi was going to get it, but in fact, I think Farhi even put out a few little hint things out there on some blogs that maybe he was being considered, which he denied, of course. but he wasn't picked. I don't think Paul Furry is that good of a reporter, honestly. I really, really don't. He's not bad a writer. And on light stuff, he's not bad, but I really don't think he's anywhere, he's not even 1/3 as good as Howard Kurtz was. So maybe, maybe this thing to pick Wemple up there. As the Washington Post transitions from being the Washington Post to the National Post, I really think, you're seeing the Washington Post, especially on its website, becoming more and more of a national paper. They realize that's their future, not the dinky little Washington market as the print Washington Post slowly sinks in the sunset. So we shall see. Also got some rumblings that WPGC is now playing artists like Britney Spears and Katy Perry. So we're watching them transition to more of a kind of middle ground. A lot of my radio sources tell me that at Urban Contemporary WPGC, who's getting okay ratings, it's a good ad revenue biller, but it's not getting the greatest ratings it's ever had, is going to position itself in between Hot 99.5, which is a contemporary station, and KISS, WKYS, which is a full-blown hip-hop urban station. They're going to position themselves right in between the two, okay? So they're going to be playing some stuff that Hot 99.5ers would like and stuff that WKYSers would like. They don't want to alienate their existing audience naturally. So it'll be interesting to see just exactly where WPGC places itself. With Free joining the morning show with Big Tigger, we shall see. So, again, tweaking goes on there at WPGC, but nothing earth-shatteringly different. It's not going to suddenly become AMP 95.5 or now 95.5 anytime soon, I don't think. Here's a funny one. You remember a couple months ago, the FCC allowed the merger between Comcast and NBC, which I thought was a crock. I don't think it's a good thing. But anyhow, Meredith Atwell Baker, who's one of the top Republican commissioners on the FCC, she's also one of the main backers of the merger. She came out and said it's going to bring exciting benefits to consumers that outweigh the potential harms, stuff like media consolidation and, big giant companies controlling everything. Don't worry about that. As long as we get, more online choices to watch, parks and recreation and community at night. What the hell. So anyhow, the big news is that, hey, she's jumping to Comcast. She's not going to be one of the top lobbyists for Comcast-NBC on Capitol Hill, which is kind of funny. You wonder if Comcast didn't say to her, hey, Meredith, vote for us and we might hire you. I don't know, man. It just looks terrible. It looks bad. Whether that happened or not, I don't know. But it just looks terrible. Oh, gosh. I'd like to say howdy to great old Dude Walker. Dude's a longtime voice guy for the Washington area. Yeah, he used to do the sounders on the old Don and Mike show and all that. Dude's back as an advertiser. Check him out. He's got his commercial voiceover demo there from YouTube right there on our front page. So check out Dude Walker here on DCRTV.com. Well, thanks a lot for this newsy version of our 5/12 edition. Stay tuned for more news. And don't forget to help support us. We've got a special deal. If you join Plus during the month of May, that's the site that's got a whole lot of cool memorabilia. We will give you 2 years for the price of one. That's 2 years for only $39, okay? $39. What does that come out to? That literally comes out to, it's 24 months of DCRTV Plus for $39. That's about $1 or something a month. $1 something a month for DCRTV Plus. What can you buy for $1 something a month? You can't even get a cup of coffee for that. So help support DCRTV. We are the archive of local radio and TV memories for Baltimore and Washington. Nobody else is really doing quite what we're doing. And thanks for watching this morning or this afternoon, whenever you happen to be watching. And don't forget to stay tuned.